All right, ladies
Hey,
and
everybody.
gentlemen, welcome.
One quick
to
second here. We are
episode
waiting for Joseph to
25.
give us the
So we're
bat
waiting for
signal,
Jaime
and
to
there
get
it
logged
is.
in. So give us just a minute as he does that, and we will get started. All right, there's Jaime there. Give me 1 second. Looks like there we go. All right. Approve. Check. Let me know if you can hear me, ladies and gentlemen. We're checking to see if all right, Jaime, can you hear me?
Hey.
Jaime, can you hear me? Check.
Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Let's see how this goes again. We love technology. By the way, you're sideways, Jaime.
All right. Is that a little bit better?
And you're frozen. Do you want to build a snowman?
All right. Can you hear me okay? Uh-oh.
We lost Jaime, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's coming back in just a minute. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, where are you logging in from? Let us know as we try to get this set up properly so that we can make sure we get you the information that you came here for. We're going to tell you exactly how one of our agents closed a transaction with the tips that we gave on the previous podcast. And what I mean by that, you can actually go to my Facebook page later and you can see it. Hi, Jamie. And you can see it on my actual Facebook page. All right, Jaime, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. My headphones are doing the same thing they were doing last week, so I'm going to take them off. Did our volume go okay for the podcast last week?
It was fine. It was fine.
It was fine?
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Yeah. Let's see if this works. So let's see if this works, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Jackie. All right. Can you still hear me, Jaime?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear us okay? Let us know if you can hear us okay so we make sure that we can continue moving forward with this call properly.
Sweet.
Jaime, check.
I can hear
you. You've got a delay on my end.
I can hear you in the background over here.
Yeah, you got a big delay on my end.
Really? Should I come back?
Let's do this. Nicole says she can hear us just fine. Jaime, I think you and I have a lag for some reason. I'm not sure what the lag is.
Let me turn
Nicole,
off.
let us know if it sounds normal to you guys.
Let me turn off the Wi-Fi on me, and then I'll come right back.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So in the meantime, while Jaime does that, so last week, if you recall, and what I'm going to talk about right now is what North Shore, New Orleans, Heyman's awesome. Leslie, I saw your message, by the way. I'll get back to you on that. But what I want to talk about, obviously, this podcast is in regard to making sure that we give you detailed ideas and practices to go take action to get transactions immediately. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Jaime, you there? You live?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I think there's just a lag between us, so it may be a little bit awkward for everyone whenever we're having this conversation. But as long as they can hear us, and again, those of you who are watching, let us know if you do have any issues with hearing us, or if there's any random lag that you hear, and we'll try to adjust on the fly. If not, we'll figure life out. All right, Jaime, so do you want to introduce everyone into what's going on in today's call?
Absolutely. So we are on episode 25 of the Agent Resource Podcast. Hey, we're going to Today we're talking about how to generate real estate leads in 2021. So we're going to be hitting you with some rapid fire lead generation strategies that you absolutely want to implement. Now, when I say you want to implement these strategies, I absolutely mean it, because I actually want Joseph, you to start off and kick us off with a success story, a testimonial, a real life, trackable, traceable, provable actuality of something that happened that you're seeing some success from folks that take action in the content that we share. So I really want you to break this open right now and share the people with just the success that you're seeing.
Yeah. So what I want to be able to share with everyone is, so last week we had a call and we were talking about strategies to utilize to get leads pretty much immediately, right? And we were talking about using a reactivation campaign. In that reactivation campaign, one of our agents actually we right? And those lead sources, you're going to say something to the effect of, hey, putting together my top 10 list of people who want to buy a house in 2021. Would love to have you on the list. If you'd like to be on it, let me know, right? Respond back yes, or I want to be on the list. And so she had people do that. So she had her virtual assistant go out and send all her past leads that she's not currently, meaning that she's not working with, all her past leads. One of those leads got pre-approved and now has put an offer in a house. They're under escrow and they'll be buying a house, right? So that's how fast this stuff works. And so the things that we talk about on this podcast are not like theory. These are things that people are doing. These are actions that you can take immediately. And so you can go to my wall. You can actually see the message, not right now, because we want you to be on this call so you can get the rest of the tips. But after this call, go to my wall. You'll see the message that she sent over to me. So as you listen to these things, these are things you can do today or tomorrow, whenever you wake up, but do them, because you're going to make money doing these things that we talk about.
Bam! Right then and there. Again, this is something that we harp on this all the time. And I feel like as I was listening to our podcast last week, Joseph, I felt a little bit guilty because it felt like we were, beating people over the head with take action. But now it kind of gives me just with that success story, I feel like it gives me the liberty to go ahead and start beating people over the head with the same message. Not in a malicious way. Again, this is the reason that we're doing this is for you to get some wins, right? So we wouldn't say like do something completely wrong because we want the worst for you. That's not what's happening here. So it's more of an encouragement. Don't think of it as a we're mightier than thou, whatever the case may be. That's not necessarily what we're going after. What we want to reemphasize is that these strategies are working, giving you something actionable that's provable, because we know, just like you, because we're in the same groups, everybody here that is actually watching it from this Facebook group, that the new real estate agents group is where we go live. Everybody that's listening on the podcast. So if you're interested in participating, we know the marketing messages that you're seeing out in the group. Hey, if you send out this letter, for every one letter that you send out, you're going to get 4 clients back. Send something so dumb, but then there's no proof. Drop your email down below. I think Joseph, you know for sure who I'm alluding to. But when it comes to those types of salesy messages that maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but there's no substance or proof behind it, just wanted to reinforce that. Now, that's the last thing I kind of want to stop harping on the whole take action, because I think we beat that one down enough. But I really wanted to focus on your strategy that you were alluding to, and the strategy that was shared. Something like that is simple, and it doesn't mean that it is easy or hard. It just means that it's simple. Nobody had to go out and give an expensive CRM. Nobody had to go out there and do all of this landing pages. It just meant copying and pasting basically, and then putting in a little bit of work. Now, did that person immediately end up with a closed lead, a closed transaction immediately? No, there was obviously a follow-up. There's obviously a conversation that was had. And oftentimes we're waiting for that first message or that first comment to be, hey, I want to buy a house. Let's go show me a few. That doesn't work that way. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on expectations as we're talking about the strategies that start conversations.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand there are some strategies that we'll talk about that will take a little bit longer than others, right? Right. Like not everybody's going to send you a message that says, I'm pre-approved, let's go buy a house, right? If you have that magic potion, call me, we'll start a business, and we will ride off into the sunset, right? But some of the strategies, as Simon has alluded to, will be people responding to you saying, I want to buy a house, right? And then it's your job as a real estate professional to find out if they are equipped and ready to actually go buy a house, right? So we're a lot of these strategies that we talk about are immediate actions. Doesn't necessarily mean they're always going to have the benefits of having somebody that's like, let's go right now. But the one that we did last week for sure did, right? Like we have evidence of multiple agents that did that. I can send screenshots to you for free. By the way, this information is for free. We have not sold you anything on this. And all you have to do is take action. If you want to make the money, you want to have good relationships with buyers and sellers, just take the action. That's what it comes down to. So yeah,
absolutely.
That was probably the easiest one. Did everybody get that, by the way, on what we're talking about?
Comment down below if that makes sense. If the strategy that that Joseph alluded to, if you'd like for us to expand on that, we baked in just a little bit of time in every single strategy, so we can take a little bit of time if it's going to be worth it. If it's not, again, we're going to move on to the next one. So let us know. A huge heart goes a long way. A huge like goes a long way. When you're listening to the podcast, a huge 5-star goes a long way. So comment down below if you'd like for us to expand on that. Joseph, I'll read just a few comments here. Loud and clear, listening from Hawaii. Thank you. Anne is saying, happy Friday. Funny seeing you together. I watch Jaime on YouTube a lot and Joseph on Facebook. So we're the marketing couple is basically what she's alluding to, Joseph. But we're going to let that fly over here on YouTube. The comments that we're getting are not showing. And they're not showing. Okay, so anyway. As we go into the next strategy, I don't see any comments unless, please stop me if you see any of them that, okay. I'd like for you to expand is what Jamie is sharing. Do you want to share a little bit more on that strategy, at least the Cliff Notes version, Joseph?
Of the strategy that got the transaction?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so you can use the strategy two different ways, right? So one version of using this strategy is pretty easy. You essentially will go into your database. This is strategy one, right? Go into your database, your past buyer leads, and your past seller leads, if you have those. And you simply send a message that says, hey, I'm creating a VIP list of past or a VIP list for 2021 to put all my real estate focus into 10 people. If you want to be on that list, let me know. And then let them reply back, right? Something to that effect. When they reply back, obviously at that point, you're going to say, hey, so excited that you decided to be a group part of this, the 10 people that I'm going to put my focus into. Let's get together and set up a buyer's plan for you, right? And so now you're getting them to the buyer plan and what that looks like and how fast they want to buy, so forth and so on, right? You, again, do the real estate part of things. On the seller side, you do the exact same thing to all your past seller leads. Hey, I'm putting together a list of the top 10 people in my contacts to help to focus on to help them sell their house as fast as they possibly can for as much money. If you want to be on that list, let me know and we'll get together and set up a seller plan. Just reply back yes or put me on the list, right? And then you let them reply back. So that's strategy number one. That's sending a text message or email or message to all your past leads that have not worked with you. The other version of that is posting it on your personal wall. You have friends. We all know that your SOI is the number one way to make money in real estate. If you post in this group, you'll see that everybody says, whenever you say, hey, what's been the best strategy for you? Everybody says SOI, right? And then from there, it's like Facebook and all the other calling, so forth, sending letters, all that stuff. But you want to post for your SOI to see and remind them that you're a real estate agent. And you're going to post, hey, I'm putting together my top 10 list of people to help them buy a house in 2021 or help them sell a house in 2021. Allow your SOI. You say comment below if you want to be on that list, or send me a message, and let them all comment and let them message. And then from there, you take that over. And then that's how you actually start getting people immediately from your SOI to buy or sell with you.
Bam, bam.
Joe just said, the phrase buyer plan is golden and so powerful, so much better than buyer's consultation. Yeah. A buyer plan, right? Like you have to talk layman's term to other human beings. Like, don't try to use the terminology that they use in real estate and real estate agents use with one another. Nobody knows that stuff. Like that. Who walks around and says consultations or CMAs all day? Right?
Yes.
I have yet to be sitting at a dinner table or having drinks with somebody and they're like, man, I was at this consultation today. That's a doctor's term. Or I was at the CMA. That's the Country Music Awards. Nobody says that like daily, right? So make sure you use layman's terms as much as possible.
You know how sales, I guess I'm putting myself, I'm telling on myself here, how ignorant I was to sales prior to getting into sales. Cause I was, in my prior life, I was an executive in a healthcare company. But prior to getting into sales, which is where we're at, I didn't know what a lead was. Isn't that silly? But it goes back to the terminology, the phrasing, what we use. I didn't know what a lead was. I did not know what a lead was. So the lead. I know it sounds dumb now, but it's we get into our echo chambers. And to your point, I'm glad that Joe brought that up. So thank you. Yes, you need to speak like your clients speak. You're not communicating with other real estate agents. That's not who's going to pay your bills. They're going to accept the offer and stuff, but it's ultimately the clients that work with you. Joseph, I'd like to kind of talk about primers, if that's okay. So with your strategy, kind of expand on it a little bit more as we were going through our show notes. Primers are basically posts that set you up for posts like this. So primers are designed to get you some attention, get you some attraction. We were talking about doing some of those for my personal things. You were advising me on how to do that on several groups that as we're launching a few different things out. Those posts are primers that are designed to get more and more engagement. As you know, the more engagement that you get in your chat, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's these algorithms that if you are putting things out there that get engagement, that put people back into that app, as soon as they get that notification, you get rewarded. So these types of posts are primer posts that set you up for. So it's you're gonna know this very well because you actually played Division I football. You're running a play. As the safeties move in, boom, behind them, right? So wait, you were a safety, weren't you?
Well, I ran the ball some, but then I moved over to safety. But
okay, my bad. So forget I said that, Joseph. Forget I said you never creeped in. Nobody got behind Joseph. But it's the same strategy. So a primer, just to give you an example, is leads straight into your point, into what you're talking about. A primer post could be something to the effect of, what year did you buy your home? That's a primer post. That's a very non-threatening. It's a post that's designed. So it's going to elicit some responses because people are going to put what year they bought their home. And it kind of feeds into a conversation that we had previously of becomes a little game of, well, who's a homeowner among my friends? Who's not? And by them saying, well, I bought it in 2018. Well, that lets you know that they're probably still holding on to that property. Well, I bought it in 2010. Well, that probably lets you know that they have a lot of equity in their home and they just had a kid. So, hey, maybe it's time to move up to that next house. So it's these primer posts that are designed to get you some engagement before you lead up to it. Now, I don't want people to use that as an excuse. I don't want people to use, well, I haven't primed the whatever. Start where you're at. Just give me you strategies for down the road as you're perfecting things. There's a methodology to Joseph's strategy, to my strategy, and that's just one of those leveled up strategies that people are not necessarily aware of. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect, right? So I just went and posted it, right? So as we're on this call, the point of these conversations that we have, Jaime, right, is to, as you said, elicit interactions with people, right? The interactions then lead to the relationship, or if a relationship's not established yet. Once that relationship is established, then you can take it to the next level, which is how do we work together, right? And so these priming posts allow you to dive into who you know that owns a house, or if you post this statement that says, what year did you buy your home? You might have some people that say, still waiting to do it, right? Which then gives you the opportunity to go and then find new buyers that are direct from your SOI. Does that make sense to everybody on why these posts are important?
You know what my favorite ones are, Joseph? That's my goal for 2021. Oh, what? No way. Where you at?
I'll send you a message. I'll send you a message in just a minute, Jaime. Hey, man, I thank you for commenting on my post. By the way, let's get together and put together a buying plan for you.
Bam, 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 bam. So this is making sense. A huge heart, a huge like, a huge subscribe, a huge everything. Friend request is encouraged. If you're listening to this podcast, again, a 5-star review goes a long way. So that is that's a little bit expanding upon what we were communicating with that strategy. Taking it one step further, Joseph, this one's right up your alley. So I think you're probably going to just smash this one out of the park. And this is virtual assistant territory at this point. Virtual assistants are a huge leveraging point that you can use for these strategies. Now, early on, as you get going with your business, or as you level up more in your business, if you're making that transition from doing 15 deals a year, moving up to 20, 30 and beyond, then you're not going to be as active on the message boards as you would like. So this is where you start introducing some external assistant in the form of virtual assistants. So you can train people and educate people and provide a skill set for somebody else so they can learn it, so they can apply it in your particular account. So Joseph, do you want to share a little bit more of how you leverage, or how you teach agents how to leverage virtual assistants to take the strategies that you deploy and share with agents, how you replicate that with virtual assistants so agents can go out and have those successes that you're talking about?
Yeah, so I think the important thing to take away from this before we even get into the virtual assistant world of things, because we have a lot of new agents that will be watching this. A lot of you probably are not in a stage to have a virtual assistant. And so the idea behind this whole process of having virtual assistants is to teach agents to do the things that a virtual assistant would be doing, so that whenever you get ready to have a virtual assistant, guess what? You know what to hand over to them, right? And so a lot of these processes that we are utilizing and giving to people, our agents actually give it to their virtual assistants, and the virtual assistant goes and does it. So let's say, give an example, Jaime, since you asked, is let's say you have a database of 2,000 leads. Well, I can tell you now that most of the agents, and you can take this how you want. If it hurts your feelings, this is you, right? So I don't care if I hurt anybody's feelings if I'm telling you, right? So if you are one of the people who has 1,000 leads and you've done very little follow-up, maybe one follow-up with these leads, then that's obviously a downfall, right, for yourself as an agent. And not to knock you, you just got to improve. And so whenever we have these 1,000 leads, rather than having the agent go do it, we tell the agent, and Joe just commented SOP, which is standard operating procedure, build a quick SOP, and then have your VA, your virtual assistant, go out and send the 1,000 messages that you need to send. Because then you can leverage your VA's time so that you can go do something else, hopefully more productive, because you're not going to follow up with your leads anyway. Allow the VA to do that, right? And that's actually what the agent who closed the deal did, or has the house in escrow did, is she built a quick SOP. They sent out all the messages. The VA had a response that they were doing, and then they set up appointments, right, with that agent. And so they made it really simple for themselves by having the actual virtual assistant go out and do those things. So the leverage was there. So essentially, every time the agent closes a deal, they are making money on top of money, because their virtual assistant is paid for after the first transaction, right? So it's like, if you really understand your business and understand your numbers, by having somebody to leverage their time to allow you to then have more time for yourself to do whatever you need on top of your business, like going to more appointments rather than doing more contracts, rather than sending out messages all day, then that's how you leverage a virtual assistant. But if you don't have the money, you should be doing the things that the virtual assistant would be doing, because that's how you get more money to pay for a virtual assistant. And then that's how you continue building your business. So if you have more time than money, do the things that the virtual assistant would be doing.
I'm interested in so all that you said. I mean, I cannot stress that point any further because you articulated it perfectly. So I need a pivot, Joseph. There's nothing for me to add to that. So I'm upset. Let's so I'm gonna pivot into a question. Watch how this works. I'm gonna pivot into a question. I want to see in the chat. Type the Y if you have a virtual assistant, just so we get a feel of what's of where we're at, and then type in if you don't. So yes or no. Let us know in the chat if you have a virtual assistant, just to see kind of where we're at the moment. Because I'm curious. You know, there's been a lot of talk about virtual assistants over the past years and the past months. So I just kind of want to see where we're at the moment. I see a few ins already. I see. Nope, that wasn't in. Converted into a Y. Okay. So we have there's a lot of no's. So you clearly know your audience. Perfect. So this is good. This is good. We started with one. Awesome. So
I think Jamie's actually using one of our programs now. She's just testing our market, if I'm not, or maybe fully onboarded. Jamie, you have to remind me. I don't know sometimes because the virtual assistants do everything, right? Like that's what I'm trying to help people understand. Like
just so everybody knows,
set up the right things.
You're not talking to the real Joseph. This is actually, just so everybody knows, you're not talking to the real Joseph. This is actually a virtual assistant, Joseph. Just so everybody knows. Cool. So I dig it. There's any questions on that? Hopefully going to get one soon over here on the YouTube channels where we're seeing. Joseph, you use a different system. I want to kind of dip my toe into this for 2 seconds, and then we're going to dip back out because not as many folks are on virtual assistants. You know how I feel about my systems. I personally use Trello. You use something else. I can't remember exactly which one you use, but
Asana?
as far as having
Asana is the name of the one we use. Yeah.
Asana. So these tools, these are absolutely phenomenal systems. Really, you can't go wrong. It's just a preference thing. These are tools that are a great way for you to communicate, not only with just virtual assistants, but to communicate with anybody and everybody that's working together, collaborating. So if you're talking about how do I become more productive, how do I communicate with a virtual assistant, how do I communicate with my team, these project managers are fantastic because you aggregate everything in one place. You aggregate links, you aggregate attachments, you aggregate videos, images, communication. Everything is in one place. So you don't have to worry about, hey, I wonder if Jaime got that email. Hey, I wonder if they got my DM. Hey, I wonder if X, Y, and Z happened. So you don't have to figure out, I know I got the logo from Joseph, but I just can't remember if he messaged me or if he emailed me or if he X, Y, and Z. So just want to throw that in. If you have anything to add, we can absolutely expand on that. But I just wanted to throw that out there, as a lot of the comments were no, but getting into it very soon.
Yeah, so let me elaborate a bit more. So comment below if you've used Trello or if you've used Asana in the past. And so when Jaime says project management, essentially, both of these systems allow you to build out a process that manages a project. So let's say, for example, you want to systemize something every single day. Like, did I post on Facebook today? Did I send a message to this lead? You can build out multiple projects, and they're cards, so they're drag and drop, right? So you can drag and drop. I look, I am Mr. like cheapo, and like anybody who's in my programs knows, like I'm all about how can I save as much money and make as much money as possible, right? And so using Trello, using Asana, there are free systems. And in these systems, what you essentially do is you build out a project, and then it helps keep you accountable somewhat, because now you're dragging. And if you didn't drag to the next day or next opportunity, then that means you didn't do that thing. And it's very visual. So I think that's why these systems were built. So you have a visual outlook on how to actually accomplish a project that you're trying to accomplish. I also advocate for those of you who are looking for cheap CRM, even though we have one that we actually advocate for as well. You can put all your leads into Trello, Asana, and all these different programs, and then drag them into different stages, right? So like message one, if the person's approved, you can move them down into the next stage, and then how they're getting over to your lender, so forth and so on, and how that communication works. You can build out the full project, and the project can be buyer approved to closing, right? And so you can just build out the steps that you need for that. So anyway, that's what Jaime is talking about when he says project management tools. And it looks like Jaime here on Facebook, a lot of people or several people are using them now.
Sweet. I dig it. No, so that's absolutely critical. Absolutely critical what you're sharing. So let's keep the ball rolling when it comes to lead generation. We can certainly, if there's any more specific questions on that, we can absolutely dive back into it. But let's keep the show going with different lead strategies. We're talking about this real estate lead generation masterclass, how you're actually getting leads in 2021. So staying on that same theme, let's talk a little bit about video leads. So video leads means anything that has to do with Facebook stories, YouTube stories, Facebook posts that are in video format. We're talking about YouTube, anything that has to do with video and communicating it and taking people from the video into your CRM, into your contacts, into a conversation with you. So basically having that call to action on screen, if you will, to where you're having a conversation with them later on. So that's what we're talking about with video leads. So I wanted to kick this off, Joseph, if I may, with video leads, I'll give you one, since we're very actionable around here. I'll give you a strategy right now. Something that will not take you longer than a minute to deploy is getting your, I can't do it right now and really illustrate the point because my phone is mounted here, but getting your phone out, and this is only going to be a stories strategy. So it would have to be vertical here because that's the story. So if you're doing a post, then yeah, let's do it around. So, that you have to learn that the hard way, but I just gave you the easy way. So as you're recording, what you want to do is communicate something of value, but also have an offer that they can't refuse. So if you're looking for, let's just say if you're looking for sellers, let's just say with sellers, hey guys, I just had a fantastic listing appointment and I just want to talk to you about it. We were talking about if now was the right time to sell. And turns out that after they took in the payoff, they took in what it could potentially sell for, the taxes and everything else, they netted X, Y, and Z. So it was super cool. It was awesome sharing that information with Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And I just realized that not everybody has the net sheet. So how to actually calculate the net sheet. And I actually have a pretty cool calculator that does that. If you're interested in it, then just message me and I'll make that available to you. So that way you start having a conversation. Now, of course, you're going to word it a little bit better than what I just did, but basically the offer that you have there is the net sheet. And beyond that net sheet, you have a solution to where if I were to sell, how much could I get for it? That's something that they're going to need. So you get to evaluate the property. They're also take into account how much they owe on the home. So when people start putting numbers on paper, then they starts becoming real. Now, you never once said, hey, let's sell your house. You made them an offer. Some people will take you up on it. Some people will not. Now, once they have that, things start becoming real. And simply because you facilitated that doesn't mean that they're going to be ready to go tomorrow. But that's the beauty of it. You get to engage with them 6 months before they're even thinking about that, a year before they're thinking about that. And I know us as agents, we don't always have the virtual patience, but that is something very valuable for you to have. So you have the conversation 6 months ahead of time, as opposed to 6 months after the fact. So having something like that in video format is, again, super simple. You just shoot a video and boom, people are going to be messaging you. Now that's for the seller side. If you're looking for a buyer side, very much the same strategy. How much can I afford? You have a calculator. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just put a little spreadsheet together. And honestly, you just go to a lender to get how much a buyer can be approved for. They have calculators. If you want to see how to do a net sheet, go with the title company. You don't have to create anything. So those are two strategies that I wanted to share right now. And this is stories. It can be applied anywhere.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like that's a quick hit, right? So a lot of the stuff is we talk about is like very quick hit, right? Like quick hit, get leads, get them what they need, try to convert them over, right? I like that strategy, Jaime. Another strategy along those lines, and that's a video strategy, ladies and gentlemen, specifically. And again, as Jaime was saying, let me close my water bottle before I try to do this and spill my water everywhere. You want to hold your phone vertically. This is vertical. If you're doing stories or Instagram stories or Facebook stories, do not do it this way. You only do it this way if you're going to post it on your wall or YouTube. Okay. This way for stories, this way for everything else. So I like that strategy because you allow the seller to reach out to you and basically let you know that they're interested in seeing those numbers. Right.
Yep.
One guy, actually, I'll mention his name, Tom. I think Tom's last name is Nagwin, maybe. But he used a strategy that I absolutely love, and you can do this in video format as well. Essentially, what he did was he would post a house that's for sale in his market. So the house for sale in his market, how much it would cost to own that house, and then compared it to rent. And so this was if you rent, this is how much rent costs. This is the type of house you could own. And here's the breakdown of what that would cost per month, less than your rent, right? And so he would show those two things. I think he used like RPR or whatever the program is called. And it would actually show what that looks like for somebody to rent a house versus owning a house, and it's a real house that's for sale in the market, right? And so you could do that via video, right? So if you really want to do that via video, you can record the video of you saying, hey, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to own a house that costs this much rent. I'm going to break down the numbers. And then so you say that on the phone. You don't have to do it live. Record it vertically. Go back into the phone, pull up the screen recording, because you can record your phone and talk through the points that you want to talk through as you look through the house. Then mesh those two together and then post them on your Facebook page, right? Instead of it just being a static image, now you've made it into actual video. And it's super simple to do. We all have phones now that record in 4K and that can record your screen. And that is like a super easy marketing tip. So it's basically very similar to what Jaime is saying, but now you have it live, like Jaime said. And then you also have another version that you can post on your actual wall.
That's awesome. I wrote that down. I put buy versus rent. Buy versus rent. That is huge. And I'm just giving you you and I work well together. I learn a lot of things from you. You learn some things from me. And right now, exactly what I wrote down on my Evernote is buy versus rent, and then house image / infographic. So basically, for me, what I'm saying is what I'm going to do after we get through, I'm going to put this on my Trello board, just so everybody sees the game plan. Replicate this. so I have that for myself. I have that for my agents that I work with, all that stuff. So some of the things that we're not here preaching, we're just here sharing. Some of the things that you share, I'm actually going to implement. Some of them I'm doing, some of them are not the right time, but at the end of the day, this is what it's about. So with that being said, a 5-star review goes a long way. That would be huge, right? I mean, there's no lead into that, but I'm going to ask for it. So if you're also interested in joining us live at 8 p.m. Central, we're here on Facebook, we're here on YouTube, and you're going to see the links down below, so there's no guessing. So that's huge. That is huge. That's something that is very actionable. At no point did anybody on this podcast say, hey, opt into my $2,000 course. At no point did we say, go out and get this software that I'm an affiliate for that's going to give me 50% commission. So these are things that you can deploy today if you're interested in making money. If you're not, continue doing what you're doing, and if you're successful, great job. If you're not, then reconsider a few things.
I think that's great. Every time we do these, I'm always interested to get responses back from people that deploy these strategies, right? Because it's again, it's not like we're just like making these things up, right? These are all things that have been done already. And we're just making sure that people have access to the information to go deploy these actual activities. And whenever we get the messages like the one of my agents sent me, it just makes a world of difference whenever you see, somebody giving us a 5-star review, somebody telling us that they closed a house, somebody telling us they got a listing through this process, because that's why we started this, to see people having more success through the activities that we're able to provide to them. So yeah, 5-star review that lets us know. And if you can say, hey, by the way, in that 5-star review, you helped me do XYZ, that's fantastic too.
Yeah, I dig it. And since Joseph shared a win, I'm not gonna stay out of this. I'll throw in a win with
There you go.
and this one's on YouTube. So this is more along the side, along the YouTube world, but it's video. Now, I'm not gonna mention her name because I actually didn't clear with her prior, but so she called me. She messaged me first and said, "Hey, can I see your face?" Like, well, you have a husband. Sorry. But she was like, the reason she wanted to do that's because she wanted to FaceTime and share that after starting YouTube in September, and we're in January, so we don't say that some of these are easy or hard. We just say that some of these there's a process. Some of them are a little bit longer than others, but
Yeah.
as she built in the reps, did the reps with YouTube consistently for a week, not over a week, every single week, she got her first lead. For her first lead happens to be a $750,000 cash buyer. That is
Magic.
pretty cool, right? That is pretty cool. So she was just so excited that she wanted to share with that. So we got to that was pretty cool. I felt that was awesome for her to share that and participate, or we got to celebrate together. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty neat. That's something that there's a lot more stories like that, but just wanted to share that there's some of these strategies that maybe aren't the instant pops. Some of them are going to be, and that's fantastic. But then there's also longer term YouTube. We've been talking about YouTube for the longest time. Well, the reps that she put in September, in October, November, December, they're still there because
Yeah.
that was not a 24-hour turnaround because she put it on the stories. Good.
Well, she's reaping the benefit. By the way, congratulations to that agent and working with you, right? Because that's a very, very big deal. $700,000, and then depending on her take home, easily upwards of $15,000 that she's going to make for her family based on the information that you helped her, create, right, and guided her on. And I think that's the part that people want to make sure that they are figuring out is like, yes, there are some immediate things that you can do. Sorry, there's a gnat in here. There's some immediate things that you can do right now to get business. And then these are the longer term plays like Jaime is talking about, because you can't tell me that if you have the opportunity to do videos that are going to be on YouTube for the perpetuity of, or basically for perpetuity, which means for life, right? And the business trickles in, and then you have all the other immediate strategies. Like, there's no way you can't be successful. The only way you can't be successful is if you do nothing, right?
Yeah.
If you do absolutely nothing, and yeah, and unless it's just handed to you, which is, even then, you still have to do some work. So just make sure that as we talk about these things, you can mark them down as, these are how I get immediate leads. I can do this every week, every month, every quarter, and these other things like YouTube and Facebook Lives and all these things, I can take those videos and I can just put them on YouTube and let them trickle business in over time, right? And if you put those things in buckets and you just take action on those things, I don't know how you can't be successful, to be honest with you. Like, it's almost like impossible not to be successful if you're just taking like simple action.
Get the reps. Joseph, we're providing so much value that this podcast is actually getting confused with another masterclass that you actually host. So, hey, how do I sign up? Is this the Seller Masterclass? It's not, Deborah. It is a masterclass, but it's not that particular one. So please message Joseph for that one. He'll get you the right. Is that the protocol? Message you and you'll take it from there.
Yeah. If you want to send me a message, please feel free to send me a message if you're interested in the Seller Masterclass. We probably won't open up slots again because we have the first group that's going through it right now that are doing really great. just launched it. So it's really interesting to see people already getting ready to actually having conversations with sellers. But anyway, beyond that, just send me a message and we'll talk more. One note really quick, Jaime. So we're talking about these immediate actions. You were talking about the primer post, right?
Yes.
And so living by what we state, primer post, what year did you buy a home? 3 comments already since I posted it 24 minutes ago.
You posted it?
2020, 2016. Somebody just said right now, which is one of the lenders, Vanessa, which she's really awesome. By the way, she works with one of our real estate agents. So 3 people have already commented. So that means I have 3 potential people that I can reach out to put on my list to drip them information, especially at 2016. They've had their house for 4 years. They might have some great equity and might be looking at buying a new house, and they might be growing their family, right? So again, as Jaime said, like some of these things are immediate. I actually just got a new comment. Let's see who this is. Current home 2013, first home 1973. So again, like we're trying to show you folks like these things that we're talking about. We just set up the post. People have come to us, and now I get to go to them and say, congratulations on owning your home for that long. There's another comment coming in, by the way. So somebody just said 2016 again, right? So if you're not thinking the way that we think, you are a marketer at the end of the day. You are a salesperson at the end of the day. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to go chase people. You want people to chase you. And these are ways to get them to do that, right? YouTube, posting primer post, and it's all client attraction. It's all law of attraction. And if you can learn how to do law of attraction, your business will grow leaps and bounds, because now people are seeing you, wanting to talk to you, and they will come to you to do business with you.
100%. So everything that we're not everything, but most of what we're talking about is actually, I put a video about this out today. Attraction marketing. This is attraction marketing, people coming to you. Now, I was having dinner with my brother before we did our podcast here, and we were talking a little bit about business and investing, and I don't know how social media came up, that it's that double-edged sword with it can certainly add to your stress, but without social media, I'd be homeless. So just because of the way that I communicate, I've mentioned this in this podcast before, that I used to sell books door to door back in college, which didn't last long, but that's not my thing. However, with social media, there's different ways for you to get the same responses, if not better. I'll give you one example, just so we're not so abstract. Let's talk about Airbnbs. Let's talk about investment homes. There's a lot of your peers right now, especially in our age group particularly, that are looking to either get into investing or maybe have one, maybe have two, just depends, right? But there is right now, the market where it's at, there's a lot of people looking to cash out. So some of them have an investment home, some of them have an Airbnb. So now may be a good time for them to get that out of their portfolio, if they don't see, regardless of what you think in politics or whatever, there's always going to be half of the people that say this is going to be the worst 4 years. This is going to be the other half. This is going to be the best 4 years. I don't care. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a portion of your audience, a portion of the people that you work with, that are going to look to do a fire sale for the next 4 years. And some of them, they're going to buy up everything. So they're going to make money every which way. So what I'm getting at is, if you want to go through the tax rolls or buy these lists of people that have investment properties, you can do the cold calling. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this, Joseph. So I don't know if you're much into cold calling. I'd much rather use the strategies that we're talking about and deploy them a little bit different. So even rewording that post that you just made, rewording it to say who has an Airbnb or who has an investment property. When did you buy your first investment property? Again, these are primer posts that actually end up being the main bait, if you will. But at the end of the day, you didn't have to go out and cold call all these people. But that maybe some of you absolutely love cold calling. Kudos to you. You are a different breed than I am. I am just not there. Here, you make these posts and people come to you.
Yeah, so it's funny. I think you must be reading my mind. Most of the time, you say, I think you're Joseph. You're reading my mind. But we actually took that same post and we flipped it into investor posts. So
Ooh.
now we take that same post and we use it to go after Facebook groups and post, hey, who's looking to buy investment properties? We're putting together our top 10 list of people who want to be investors. And by the way, who is looking to sell their
Mm.
house and feel like an investor would be the best person to buy your house because it needs some work. Comment below, send me a message, right? Putting our top 10 list of people to help them get their house sold. And what you're doing is you're essentially the middleman. That's really what we are in real estate. And so by being the middleman, you get both parties, and now you can start meeting them together. If they don't work out together, that's okay. Then you just find other people to buy and sell those houses, right? And so yeah, the primer posts are magic. By the way, Jaime, since I brought up the post a second ago, here are the number of comments that have happened in the last 2 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another one, 8.
Heck
8
yeah.
people that own a house. Some of them since 1997, 2014, 2016, 2013,
Oh, man.
1973. So ladies and gentlemen, like, I don't know how else to explain it to you guys, but like these primer posts just set you up to then reach out to people.
You know, and those there's
Somebody
some
said,
show
which
offs. I
one?
don't know. Okay, so you read the one that I read. I don't know if I'm not
Yeah.
gonna comment too much on that, but it's like, well, somebody's a show off. But guess what? That is, what does that let you know? Boom, there's multiple. All right, you can show off too. I'll sell all of your houses. I don't care. And again, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna mention that name because I just kind of took a shot there. But and if that's a very close friend of yours, my apologies, Joseph. But that's cool. That's so cool. I mean, let us know if you've commented on these recordings. Stay here live, whether on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, when you're in the podcast and want to connect with us. Again, our contact information is in the show notes, so you're more than welcome to check these out on your time. All right, so I'm seeing your voice is echoing. Well,
Yeah, I think we're starting to
it's too late.
we're starting to break up here for some reason.
Okay. Awesome. So one of our last points, MCR, is that Joseph's or is that mine? I'll try to scoot in just a little bit more, Joseph. All righty. Cool. All right. So when it comes to attraction posting, when it comes to video leads, I think we went through there. I think now as I think I do see a little bit more pixelated on my end. So maybe we're pushing the one of us didn't pay our internet bill, Joseph. So
Oh, there's a bill?
wrap. You have to pay those. We're getting here close to the end, so this is a good time for us to do the dismount. One of the things that I really want to emphasize outside of doing the action, one of the things that I want to emphasize, especially for this year, you kind of already alluded to, Joseph, of taking that consistent action, right? So taking that consistent action, maybe refocusing it just slightly in case there's something that really needs some adjustments because it's completely off. But at the end of the day, allow yourself some time to see it work, or allow yourself some time to see it fail. But don't just leave it halfway, because you won't know.
Yeah.
Well, I could have done more. I could have blah, blah, blah. Give it some time to win, or give it some time to lose, but just give it some time. Put in that effort. Outside of just taking that action once, take that action again next week. So that's really my parting thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think those are good parting thoughts. Yeah, I think actually I made that exact statement to our agents on our mastermind call this morning, or earlier this evening on the all side of the world. But the statement was simple. It was like, you don't know if somebody wants to buy or sell unless you ask them. And if they're in your lead database, that's okay, right? To be able to do that. So make sure you're taking action, give it time to fail or succeed. So it looks like we're cutting out pretty bad, Jaime. I think we will let the people go. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to our podcast. And at this point, I think Jaime is frozen. So we will catch you guys on the next call. Thank you very much. We'll catch you on episode 26. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you guys later.
Thank y'all. Bye.